Hello, this is Wayne Dixon here. Let's take a look at this fun and free character rig, Red Nelb. The original character was created by the legendary Daniel Martinez Lara a very long time ago in an old version of Blender, and I have updated it and re-rigged it for the latest version of Blender. So with Daniel's permission, we are releasing it here on CG Cookie, free for everybody. So let's have a look at the rig and how it works. Alright, so the file will look something like this when you first open it up. And let me just explain the structure of the collections over here. So I have one master collection called Red Nelb, and that is the one in all capital letters there to show you that it is the master collection. Then underneath that we have two collections. One just houses the rig and the other one houses the geometry or the mesh here. Then we also have just the background and camera and lights and stuff in this collection here. And then this one contains all of our bone shapes, which we can turn off by default. Now, when you select the rig and you're in pose mode, you should get this UI automatically pop up. Now, if that's not working for you, just go over to the scripting tab and then make sure that you choose this script here, and then just click the run button and that will enable it for you. So it's actually visible in the item tab. So we've got our transforms along with our UI here. If you want it to have its own tab, just scroll up to the top. And then here on line 17, you can see the UI location. Just change that 0 to a 1 and then run it again or hit Alt P, and that will change it to having its own UI here, so rig UI. And now let me explain the UI a little bit. So these are just quick and easy controls to turn on and off our layers here. So we can just decide what controls that we want to show. It's a really easy way to turn them on and off. You've got your main controls, the torso and your head, the IK and FK for the arms and legs, and then the fingers. We have the main controls on the main level, and then the tweakers are the extra controls there. So the root will actually turn off this the root control, and the X-ray button, if you wanted to see the controls through the mesh, just turn that one on. And now the mesh is not occluding our controls here. This simplify button, if your animation is running a little bit low, this is just a shortcut to turn on your scene simplification, which basically turns off the subsurface or disables it to whatever level that you set here. So if it's running slow, just slide this down to 0 and it should speed up your animation. Now underneath that we have our properties section. So whatever body part that you select, it will display the relevant properties for that. So if you select a leg, it'll show you the leg, IK, etc. Now if you wanted to override that and just show all of them, there we go, just click that button there, and now you can see all the properties on the rig. Alright, so let's explain our bones here. This is our root control. It's going to be the master of everything inside the rig and move it around. Moving up from that, we have the IK foot. Now we can just move and position this anywhere. Our knee pole, that's our vector, we can move that one around. Our foot roll, just rotate that one forwards and backwards, and it's going to go up on the heel of the toe. Our toe here is going to work in FK or IK, it doesn't matter, and then we have a little pivot here, so we can pivot from the toe, whatever angle that we want there. Now if you wanted to change the parent of the IK, so at the moment you can see it is moving in world space. We can actually just select our foot here and then change our world local setting all the way up to local, and now when we rotate you'll see that that foot is parented to the hips, but we still have the IK controls. So if we actually wanted to change it to FK, just slide our IK control down to 0, then make sure that we have our FK controllers turned on, and now it's actually controlled by these FK controls here. We can do a similar thing with the FK by just disabling it from following the body, just by selecting any part of the leg and then sliding this isolate FK up to 1, or just entering 1 there. So now when we rotate, it's still in FK, but it's going to be aligned with the world. Now we also have a disconnect feature. So all of our limbs here, we can actually disconnect from the body. So we can actually move it away. Now if you are in IK, you just need to make sure that you're in world mode, because if you're in local mode, then the foot is still going to go with the hips there. So if you're in IK, slide this one down and that disconnect will work as expected. You also have some parenting on the on the knee control. So if you want the knee to follow the foot, just have it all the way to the left. If you want it to follow the torso, just have it all the way to the right there. But a good default setting is just to leave it on the foot. Now our arms work exactly the same way. We actually have FK and IK controls. So just show you how they work. So I'm going to select any of our arm controls here, and then you just slide our IK up. The rest work exactly the same. We can also change the elbow pole to be parented to the chest, or leave it in world space. Just like our hand, we can have it in local space, which would be the chest, or world space is free to the world. So I'll just show you that. So at the moment, the hand is in IK, and it's following along with the chest. And now let me change that, just by sliding this up to the world. So now our hand is actually staying in world space. Now the way our fingers work, we can actually just select these master controls and scale them down, and they will bend, and then rotate them. Make sure that you're rotating on the individual origin, and then rotate on the X. So R, X, and just bend them down, and that is a quick way to control them. If you wanted to tweak them further, just turn on your tweakers, and you have some controls here on the palms, as well as each individual bone. You can move those on top of the master controller there. Now our torso is basically an FK chain, but it's disconnected, so we can move it around, and we have nice squash and stretch going on. And that's the way that it works there. Now we've got a lot of squash and stretch on the head. Just scale this one down. It's going to maintain the volume. And the same thing with the eyes. So select the eyes, and then just scale them down to create some blinks there. You can also move these ones around, position them or rotate them wherever you want. Now our head and neck can also be isolated from the world. So at the moment, if we turn this one down and rotate, our head and neck are following along with the chest. But if we turn these up to 1, now they're isolated. So if we rotate anything here, our head and our neck stay rotated along with the world space. Now all of our limbs and our torso has some bend controls. That's on these layers here, is the head, torso, arms and legs. And you make sure that you turn X-ray on, otherwise you can't see those controllers. So let's just position this here, and you see this guy here, just bend him out any direction that you want. That's going to bend the actual limb. And then if you wanted to reposition the knee, you can just grab this one here. And that's the same for the arm. So grab this one, move it down. If you want to bend, just grab these ones. It works in any direction. And finally, we have one squash and stretch control on the head. This is kind of an extra one that's additional to this one here. So you kind of want to use one or the other, not both of them at once. Otherwise you get some crazy deformations. So there we go. That is the Red Nelb character in Blender 2.82. I hope you guys have a lot of fun animating.